A masterpiece of an anime we're gonna overview. Deadman Wonderland, or as I prefer to call it, Brain Dead Cuckoo Land. With me we have Kenji, Daniel, and Jean.
Episode 1, we're introduced to our main character, Gunta. He's pretty much a generic Shinji clone, and then suddenly, this monster comes in and kills everyone just for shock factor. He goes to the trial, and it's the most unfair trial I've ever seen.
Just because you're alive, we're going to charge you with the capital offense of mass murder of your entire class.
Which wasn't proved in any way. They had a video saying he did it, but how is he supposed to slaughter his entire class?
This would fly in any court at all.
It's magic. Just fly with it. And through the most unfair legal proceedings and most basically bullshit I have seen in my entire life, he gets sent to quite possibly hell on earth.
He really wants to kill the red man, and that magically gives him the power up exactly because he needs it.
Fire his blood like a projectile, and the introduction of branch of sin.
He also gets it exactly when he's about to be killed, so that's the most cop-out thing all shonen do. They could have done something much different, but no, it's still a shonen, despite trying to play it all gritty and violent.
It's also similar to Shingeki, which tries to be really dark and gritty, but at its core it's still a shonen.
Which is just basically the old formula of overpowered teenagers, but unlike something like, say, Fullmetal Alchemist or Hunter x Hunter, where there's actually a sense of strategy and a sense of reward, there's nothing here.
Not all of the prisoners have the blood powers. Why would they mix the prisoners who don't have the powers with the prisoners who have the powers? If
so
the prisons
they can do human experiments.
Yeah.
Why didn't they get directly into the G block?
They didn't discover it, probably.
He had to suffer before he managed to discover his superpower. That was the only logic behind it. Let's move to episode 2.
So pretty much he has to get candy in order to stop him dying from this collar that he wears. So he's pretty much like a dog, quote unquote. Ultimately, I think it's a nice concept, but I think it was executed very, very poorly. This candy, there wasn't a lot of pressure to get it. The games that he played, they weren't expanded upon. He only played maybe one game and barely got any candy out of it. I think they could have done way more with this.
They never really explained this prison and how something like this can exist in a society like this.
It's talking about the death games. It's so laughable. The audience screaming, "Oh, are those special effects or so realistic?"
They also bring their children here. Why? You're scarring your children.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Just imagine that.
I could imagine, to be honest.
Episode 4.
Gunta meets Crowclaw.
He got an OVA dedicated to him. He could have been the protagonist and I would have cared a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. He tries to fight him, but he's at a disadvantage because he has his blades or whatever. The fact that Gunta didn't die to this guy is a little bit silly because this is one of the strongest inmates, and he battled with him and he managed to almost win. I think they should have made him seem a little bit weaker.
Also, there's this chief guard, Makina. She's suspect of what's happening in this G block.
Does anyone else notice how they try to have a subplot with her but fail horribly?
Yeah, they never expand on her character or her entire mission to find out what's really going on with this prison.
She just appears for a bit and just doesn't do anything.
Maybe they wanted to expand on that in the second season, which this show never got.
It bombed horribly in Japan, but in the United States it got a really big cult following.
Because blood and battles.
Well, it's got everything America wants, so that's not really that surprising.
Well, now to episode 6, where there's the second match with Hummingbird.
It's a popular thing with anime, showing a character who's cute and then psycho.
She's pretty bad of a character. She contains nothing that I particularly like in characters.
She doesn't even play a very major role throughout the whole plot. She's just in this sub-arc.
Very few characters play a role at all in this story.
They try
Gunta, Shiro, maybe the director, and Crow, yeah. 4
There's a lot of
from
time.
a cast of how many people?
The director is supposed to be the main antagonist, but we never see a reason to properly hate him. We just see him as a crazy fool. It could have been interesting to see the psychological implications like this show was supposed to do, but it completely loses the focus of what it was trying to be from a dark psychological anime to a complete shonen farce. It makes little to no sense and just is gory for the sake of being gory.
Episode 7.
So Gunta tries to remember about Shiro.
Why the fuck did he forget about it? How could you forget about a friend?
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't forget 2 ravenous dogs who are about to murder me, and then this white girl basically beats them unconscious. I'm pretty sure I would remember that. It does play actually a nice part because we never knew why Shiro was at this facility in the first place. We only saw her in the first episode and we wondered why. So it was actually decently executed considering what the story needed. So wonderful job. You did something, story. Proceed to ruin that one good aspect.
This is also the episode where Yo's sister has to play the penalty game.
The people who lose the fights have to pay with parts of their bodies, which is
kind of stupid. We will diminish our entertainment and our pleasure by making them as ineffective at fighting as possible as the matches continue.
I think it's about scaring them into not losing, and even if they lose, they still have a slight chance of not losing something important.
And it's revealed that she only ends up losing her hair, which is the most anticlimactic thing in this whole anime, except for the ending, of course.
What was the point of that? She didn't lose anything.
They messed with the machine so she would only lose her hair. She was meant to lose more.
Yeah.
That's also a very shitty point. If it's so easy to hack this machine, why don't just hack anything else?
They also bring up in episode 7 the Undertakers, which are supposed to be the anti-Deadman force. And they basically have, I don't understand, and the show never explains, sort of devices/weapons that just say, hey, you can't use your blood in front of us.
If they have that candy and those collars which are supposed to be controlling them, why do they need extra security besides that?
That's true. I mean, they could just activate the collars and kill them instantly.
Yeah,
they don't need security.
They are rebels inside the prison and they're playing billiard in a bar or something inside there. How come they cannot control them? Why do they need extra inmates who are actually working for them so they can counter those when they actually have this power to stop any blood attacks against them?
Honestly, the collars just disappear. That's the power of this story. You forget key plot elements that play no role in this entire story.
The candy in itself gets forgotten also.
He eats in the third episode, and that aspect is forgotten until a character mentions it sometime later.
Episode 8, where they're supposed to be joining the rebellion and try to ship out information about what's going on inside the prison.
One of the inmates is a traitor. I honestly do not know how those idiots couldn't tell he was a traitor.
He managed to hack the machine that picked the punishment. How could he possibly be able to do that if he isn't a traitor, has some kind of connections with them?
We will not judge hackers, because hackers are gods.
He's Neo.
If he already knew that they were planning this rebellion, why doesn't he just shut it down immediately by sending all his forces in right then? He waits for them to actually do something.
He could have done so much to prevent so much damage to prison property and less inmates dying, and done so much more that could have been considered profitable towards the director. A double agent would act before an event occurs. He would inform them before something bad happens. But no, it's a little bit before the invasion starts, he tells them, hey guys, can you set up an ambush right there by that elevator? Thanks. Don't worry. We're gonna completely destroy, maybe even maim a couple of your security guards. But don't worry, you'll totally get us when we get there.
Episode 9. An acid-spewing spider robot appears and starts killing everyone. Because it's so dark and edgy, you start killing people. In horrifying ways.
They put in, bear this in mind, this is supposed to be taken extremely seriously, a killer loli.
Yeah,
oh my God. I remember that.
They didn't want you to laugh. They wanted you to be afraid of this girl who had a giant sword that she somehow carried in her backpack without breaking her body at all, having the strength of 10 men because she can just kill people with that thing super effectively. And this is also where we revealed to Daida's flashback. His branch of sin is just basically to have it float and explode. He's just kind of this nice guy. And yeah, he's captured basically in this episode.
They also try to give this loli a backstory.
She's quickly forgotten. Most of these characters are. She has these horrible pasts where her mother forced her to dress up, which I still wonder the stupidity of this backstory, but at this point, it might as well as be Mirai Nikki. I'm just gonna sit back and watch the stupidity.
Episode 10.
The part with the bomb, that's forced drama, where basically Shiro saves the rest of the group by throwing the bomb out of reach, and then Gunter gets angry at Shiro.
She throws away the data ship, which pretty much, it shows all the corruption that's going on in this prison, and he pretty much tells her that he doesn't want to see her again, but in reality the data chip had a bomb in it. Ooh, plot twist.
How would that chip kill anyone? There couldn't have been enough C4 in there to kill everybody.
They must have been magic explosives.
Normal people would try to explain what happened.
And the Shiro doesn't.
This is the shonen we're talking about.
It has no normal people.
And I'm pretty sure Shiro is autistic or something, because the way she acts just throughout the series.
She does go full retard during the whole show.
She is.
And now it's time for a power-up.
So, these machines, apparently, can stop blood. But for some reason, Crow comes in there, he breaks the sound barrier, so the machines can't stop the blood.
Which he didn't use in other fights. I mean, it came as a surprise.
He could have used it in the first fight against Gunter and just killed him.
He just made it seem like he knew it all along, but he didn't use it up until it was necessary for the plot.
Yeah, I'm too cool for this shit, you know?
How do you break the sound barrier with your blood? explain.
How do you shoot your blood? How do you make your blood a blade? How? Don't ask for science.
Use the power of friendship.
It transcends any physical laws.
Episode 11.
Ganta is basically taken in by Crow and is slowly being taught how to use it.
What do you mean slow? It took him like 15 minutes to master it.
And the trick is, he uses less blood, which makes it faster. That's the secret, you know?
So when he doesn't use any blood, he can teleport.
Who knows? This show doesn't explain anything. We might as well get that from it. I think if they had longer runtime, they would have expanded on it, but that was way too short.
So in this episode, we're also confronted with Nagi, who got captured before, and now he's apparently been brainwashed. He's one of the bad guys now.
There's Genku, who is basically a Buddhist guitar homicidal maniac.
Priest.
Yes. I don't know what the show wanted my reaction to that be, but if it wanted me to be confused, then it succeeded. Why the heck can he shoot beads from that guitar?
I think they just wanted to make another like cool priest character, like in Trigun or
Fate
in
Zero.
Fate Zero. We already know they were trying to be really as edgy as possible. Why not have a badass priest character as well?
Too much gimmicks overall in this show, and this character doesn't even make much sense. He just looks fancy and has a shooting guitar, and that's basically it.
He literally goes on a killing rampage on his own men, blindly murder his own men, and even then, his men are idiots. Not only do they stand there and let them be shot at by him, basically making them target practice for his guitar, they don't
even shoot back.
They're just not even reacting. They're just standing there like idiots. I'm not going to say that Zero Dimension characters have to have a personality, but there should be a sense of logic to them that even they should follow.
I don't think this is even the Zero Dimension. I think we've gotten below the Zero Dimension at this point.
They're effectively dummies.
Shall we move to episode 12?
This episode was by far the most empty. If there was a conclusion, this would be the lack of a conclusion. This
It
is the
ends.
biggest.
Also, in the end of this episode, it kind of hinted at Shiro was the red man who killed everyone in the beginning.
I'm gonna spoil the manga. Yes, it was her. She killed Ganda's friends because she was jealous of him making more friends other than her. That's pretty much all the motive this entire series had, jealousy, by some retarded girl.
That is the worst motive I could possibly think of for this type of show.
Ganda eventually forgives her.
I thought the manga was better! We also forgot about this explosion, I think, and that's how the people got their branches of sin powers.
Never expanded on at all.
They literally just show it in a flashback or two, and they say, "Oh, this happened! Wonderful job!" It's a bland catastrophe, that's what I can say.
Catastrophes always give rise to shonen power-ups.
A catastrophe happens, people gain superpowers, and the reaction of the government is to build an amusement park in the form of a prison.
It's a private prison. I don't think it's possible, and I don't think it should be possible, but it somehow is made possible.
So you don't know about their underground experimentations, their underground research on prisoners,
And
possible
the death
torture.
games.
No, they know about the death games because the public's seen it, but the public is so stupid that
It's supposed to be all special effects, right?
I guess the only other thing we can talk about is the OVA episode, which is just Crow's backstory. And really, there's nothing else to say about it. It just kind of explains him as a police officer who becomes a vigilante. One of his friends betrays him. He then gets a power-up. Basically, this explains how he's able to break the sound barrier, which is still stupid.
Crow is the best character in the series.
He's the only one who's given enough personality and presence that he's not unbearable to watch. And even that's not saying much when basically there's so many other characters you just don't care for and would rather not see.
Overall impressions of the show, we can end this.
It's the type of show that if you watch with your brain off, I can somewhat understand you having some semblance of enjoyment. It is horribly executed. It has no logic to it whatsoever. The characters are forgettable to the most part. They lack presence, has some of the worst logic, has some of the worst characters you can possibly think of. As a show, I did have fun with it, but it's honestly one of the worst things I've seen in a long time.
It's one of those Frankenstein shows again, like Axel World. They piece so many small things together, like psychological thriller and dark and edgy and action, and it turns out to be a bad shonen. Nothing good about it. Apart from the animation and the opening song, which is very nice.
Anglobe know their shtick, although they've gotten pretty terrible in recent years.
I feel as though the plot had some potential. I feel like it could have went somewhere. It could have been a bit of a satire on the prison system, on the court system, etc. But it never really got to that. It had all of these decent ideas for characters, never expanded on it. If this show branched out all of these ideas, it could have been a good watch. It could have had some decent satire in it, but it never ended up doing that. And I think it's an awful anime. I would not recommend it.
It's pointless. If you've seen enough shonens, hell, if you've even seen Hunter x Hunter and you're still watching that, there is no purpose for this anime to exist. You can find better shonens elsewhere, and it's probably one of those few shows I can say it's bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Definitely.